What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Not So Pro Football Talk. I'm your host, AJ, alongside with these two other beautiful hosts here. We got Vincent Vento, the Seahawks fan, and then we have Reed McCall, the cheesehead himself, the Packers fan. But today, we have a lot to talk about. I know there's no more football. It kind of sucks. This past Sunday, you kind of sat on the couch and you're like, what do I do with my life? But let's talk about it, all right? Let's talk about what's going on, all the news, all the updates. So we're going to talk about Jay Jettis today. We're going to talk about Derrick Henry. We're going to talk about Steve Wilkes and a lot more. So stay tuned. Guys, I want y'all to get interactive here, okay? So if you're in the comment section, give us your thoughts. We want to get into these conversations with you guys. So let's have fun with it. First off, guys, how was your first weekend without football?
It was a lot of fun. I do love NFL football, NFL Sundays, but I'm able to get absolutely nothing done because I'm just tuned into NFL Red Zone football nonstop. So it was nice, like decompressing, enjoying myself. I watched Madam Web, the most horrible movie of all time. If you have not heard, it's like a low budget TV show, but it's still bad for a low budget TV show. Incredible. It was a lot of fun.
That came out. I didn't even know that came out already. But
Yeah,
Vince, how was your weekend?
It is horrible.
Horrible. I was figuring that movie would be horrible, but my weekend was short. I only had one day off, and I'm back at work, so I started on Sunday. But it was a good one. I mean, got some stuff done. So yeah, I guess I agree with Reed saying that football kind of takes over a lot of our weekends, especially NFL Red Zone.
Oh man, I'm gonna miss those days, especially just watching football all day, stressing out about the games when really you shouldn't be, stressing out about fantasy football, which I absolutely love. And just we don't have that anymore. So this past weekend I was absolutely productive. I mean, I did yard work, I cleaned, I took the wife out, we had a nice lunch, we went out window shopping for houses. I mean, we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun this past weekend, got a lot done, but there's still a hole in my heart, and that is football. So let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about the first thing is Jay Jettis, right? So report comes out. It is a rumor that the Vikings are quote unquote hesitant in giving Jay Jettis a fully guaranteed money in his contract just because he's not a quarterback. Now, how do we feel about that? Obviously, Justin Jefferson is the best player on that team. Justin Jefferson may be the best person in that organization right now. So, what are we feeling like? How do we feel about this rumor that the Vikings are hesitant? They're not saying no, but they're hesitant about giving this guy fully guaranteed bags.
Greatest decision by Vikings franchise history. Amazing. Now, to be all serious, I know for the past year I've been telling Justin Jefferson to hold out, etc. So I'm very happy about this. But I do think the Vikings are being smart about this. Yes, Justin Jefferson is a generational talent. In my opinion, he's the best wide receiver in the league right now as far as talent. I know he was injured last year, so you didn't get to see the stats for a whole season. But he is absolutely incredible. His talent, his speed, everything about him. He's going to be the next great receiver for the next 5 or 6 years. So you want to lock this guy up. But the type of money that, from what the reports, and it's all hearsay of what he wants, I've heard up to like $40 million per year, which is absolutely breaking all other wide receiver contracts. It's smart if I can say, hey, we just cannot pay that. He is entering his 5th year of his deal. So after that year, then he can be franchise tagged, and then after that, he can be franchise tagged again. But those franchise tags are going to be humongous. I think it would be smart for the Vikings to potentially try to trade him and let him get assigned somewhere else. Get something while you can from Justin Jefferson. You don't have a quarterback, etc. I think if I was Justin Jefferson, I would want to be out of there. Vikings, I don't think you're helping yourself by wrapping yourself in that contract, unfortunately. That's my opinion.
Nice.
Pretty extensive opinion right there. I'm curious to see. Maybe that's a little bit of being biased since, they're in your division. So, Packers, that's great news for the Packers, right? You want as many distractions as you could get for the Minnesota Vikings. But now I'm kind of curious to hear an outsider, right? So, Vincent, you you appreciate the game that Justin Jefferson brings, right? You appreciate what he does for fantasy football. You could appreciate that he could be on the Minnesota Vikings, right? So let me hear it, bro. What do you got?
I mean, I it's hard because we saw the landscape, just like Reed said, changed for quarterbacks, changed the entire cap and everything that's fake with it, making other players not get paid as much. Justin Jefferson wants to be that era changing guy again, because he plays like it. He's really good, but I don't think there's a certain person on a single team that's not a quarterback that should be getting paid that much every single year. If Reed's correct on his sources there, 40 million. I mean,
That's hearsay.
hearsay, yeah, hearsay. But even like I would say even 35, even 31 for a receiver every single year. I mean, that's a lot. Unless he's catching 50% of the passes, I don't think he should be getting anything near 35 or 40. I could see 30 a year. I could see that being swung with him, but with Justin Jefferson, I guess the sky's the limit. This guy's fast. He's agile. He has a great route running. The Vikings, I think, would be 75% dumb not to sign him again because that is their entire team at this point in time. But 25% smart because this could cripple them for the next 10 years if they push this cap towards delayed, what are they called, like they push the cap and have void years, because that would just be horrible with the cap situation that they currently have. I'm not too sure how their cap is, but I don't know. I don't like it, to be honest, just because I don't want any of my receivers on the Seahawks getting paid that much. DK Metcalf is kind of a generational type receiver too, but he's nowhere near Justin Jefferson numbers at this point in time. But if he were to get there, I would not want to pay anything close to 30 million for a wide receiver. That's just my opinion as an outsider.
I mean, that's a damn good opinion, right? This is a very unique situation. I mean, what do? You're Justin Jefferson, and you want this much money, which we don't know what the market's going to look like this upcoming season for wide receivers just yet. We know it's going to change dramatically. We got a lot of wide receivers that are looking to get paid, such as Justin Jefferson, Mike Evans, Brandon Ayuk. I mean, a lot of big names out there. So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. T. Higgins, I'm not going to forget about T. Higgins as well, but hopefully the Vikings could hold on to Justin Jefferson, but at the same time, I feel like that'll also be the start of a downfall, guaranteeing that much money. Because what if he gets injured again? He misses out. They miss out hard on true talent going on. But what's going on? We got Dizzle in the house. What's going on, Dizzle? Appreciate you stopping by as always. We got a fun one today, so we'll love to hear your feedback on some of our topics. But I love that, you guys. So up next, I want to talk about Steve Wilks, right? That came kind of out of left field, right? So Steve Wilks does get fired from the San Francisco 49ers right after the Super Bowl. A lot of people almost everyone was shocked about it, right? Some people agree with it. Some people don't agree with it completely. But I want to hear y'all's thoughts. I have my thoughts. I'm pretty sure you guys know I could ramble on about the Niners, but I want to hear y'all's perspectives first. But you want me to go? You want me to go?
When you do go, you can go whenever you want. But when you do go, AJ, go.
Okay, okay, I will go. So don't you worry about that. All right.
Okay.
All right. So you graciously volunteered yourself. So I'll love to hear your take on this, Mr. Reed, the Speed.
Yeah, so when I heard that he ended up getting let go, fired, I was shocked. Absolutely shocked. I was not expecting that for a team to make it to the Super Bowl, and to move on from a coordinator it's not. I don't think it's unheard of. I believe it's probably happened before, but it is not a very common thing to do. Yes, it came out in disappointment, but the defense did play pretty well in that game. Yes, there was that final drive in overtime where, hey, if the Niners would have ended up stopping Patrick Mahomes and ended up winning the Super Bowl, would he end up getting let go. Yes, as Dissel says, scapegoat potentially from Kyle Shanahan. That is a potential thing, but I don't fully believe it. But where I finally land on this is I understand it. Like he wasn't really fitting the scheme of the Niners and what they were trying to do, and he wasn't like. I think we all feel, even though there's been like injuries on that team, like Greenlaw has been in and out. Hofunga was got injured and out for the season. That was a huge hit to the Niners defense. But overall, I still think that the Niners defense underperformed. And that's crazy to say because I do believe they finished third in the NFL as far as defense. So they played really, really well. But I think Kyle Shanahan just believes that the Niners defense can be so much more. Now, I kind of put this also on Kyle Shanahan because if he ended up not being a good fit, you're the guy who hired him. You should have known that, hey, is this guy going to be a good fit or not? I think it's tough trying to follow up D'Amico Ryans. I think he is. We now fully know after the season D'Amico Ryans had that, like, hey, D'Amico Ryans was just that good of a coach. So it's a really hard act to follow up as far as D'Amico Ryans. Guy before that was Saleh. So like hard guys to come out after, but I really hope that Wilkes gets another chance out there because I definitely think he is like a good coordinator and a good coach. But I think there's a little bit more behind the scenes that maybe him and Shanahan just were not getting along, like behind the scenes, or else I feel like he would have at least went another year to try it out and see if he could finally mesh with the team. But very surprised overall.
I'm just going to disregard this comment here because it's absolutely ridiculous about Fred Warner getting slammed. That did not happen. Come on now. But Vince, as a guy who's inside the division, right, you keep close tabs on everything that goes on with the Niners as well as the Rams and Cardinals. I don't know how far deep you get into it, but I know you do with the Niners because obviously you and I, we butt heads every single year. So how do you feel about this decision made by Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch about letting go of their defensive coordinator who didn't do bad this past season right after the Super Bowl?
Yeah, man, it was pretty surprising, but I'm not mad at it. As you can tell, just like Reed is with the Vikings and possibly not keeping Justin Jefferson, I feel the same way here with Mr. Steve Wilkes. Hopefully, he gets another job somewhere else because, like you said, he didn't do a bad job this year. I mean, he shut out a few teams. He kept a lot of teams under 21 points, which is pretty damn good in the NFL. And I mean, they got all the way to the Super Bowl, and I mean, in my opinion, I thought he did well. There was just a lot of mistakes on a couple of special teamers, of course, on the offense as well. But there were some mistakes on defense, but you can't expect anybody to be perfect in the Super Bowl, except, the 2014 Seahawks. But yeah, I just think it was a good job by Steve Wilkes, and I don't know why he got fired. Of course, maybe there is some inside information that the 49ers will never let out of the building. And Steve Wilkes will probably never talk about it either because that's just the respect that the 49ers get from everybody that coaches there. But it kind of leaves a hole there, and I'm wondering who they're going to hire. So it could be worse for everybody else in the division if they hire someone who's, worth a damn. But if they get someone who's not as good as Steve Wilkes, I'd be pretty happy because I'm pretty dang happy with who we got as our head coach. So defensive minds rule the NFC West, and it's been like that for a while. So hopefully they don't get anybody better than who we got.
Well, good for you. Okay, but this is my thoughts about this, right? It caught me by surprise because I like Steve Wilkes. He was very sought out during the free agency last year, and luckily the Niners got him. I liked him. He runs a lot of zone, but he came in with a different mentality, right? Something that he's never done before. He comes in and tells the defense, "Hey, I'm not going to change a damn thing of what you guys do. I want you guys to go out there and do what you're doing. Let me learn from you guys." Right? And I could appreciate that from a certain extent. You have the best defense on paper, right? You're supposed to be like, oh, I'm riding Cadillac. These guys could coach themselves. Don't do it literally, Okay, right? That's not what you're supposed to do. I like Steve Wilkes. I felt like he had a great season with the San Francisco 49ers, but these guys didn't build themselves. They got built by Robert Saleh. They got built by D'Amico Ryans. They need to get better, right? And so I understand where the Niners are coming from. After the Super Bowl, they sat down, they had a press conference. I watched every single press conference, and they said, no, we don't know any decision that will be made on any coach, any coordinator, anything at this time, right? The next day, they did let go of Steve Wilkes. But that's just the respect that the organization has towards Wilkes, whether it was decided before or after. But I fully believe that Kyle Shanahan, the York family, Jed York more specifically, John Lynch, all came together and said, let's sit down. I know we're hurt emotionally, but what the hell is going on? We have a damn good team and we have the best defense on paper. What is happening? Right? They said, you know what? No more messing around. We're going to cut ties. Steve Wilkes, wish you the best. And we're sorry that there's probably no more head coaching jobs out there for you. We love you, but that was just unacceptable. Allowing Patrick Mahomes to come out and have a game-winning drive, or at least to tie the game, or, you know what I mean, right? In the Super Bowl, allowing them to go down the field, what it seemed like with ease. With ease. Even with those injuries, we were stacked. We still had players, game changers, and all that. We're going to cut ties with Wilkes and we're going to go all in, get someone, especially with people who are on the board like Bill Belichick. Uh, can you imagine that? Bill Belichick going in as a defensive coordinator with the San Francisco 49ers and Kyle Shanahan as the head coach. How crazy would that be? I just think that's the mentality over there. There's nowhere messing around. I know everyone says the Niners go all in every single year, but this time that's a statement right there. If you ask me, that's a huge statement. We're going up because Steve Wilkes is a head coach anywhere else. Am I wrong?
It
Right?
could be.
He could be, right?
Yep.
If things were to change, if the Niners got out earlier, this guy's a head coach, more than likely. Even if it's in college level, he's still a head coach. So yes, I think this is a huge statement from the Niners saying, no, we're not messing around anymore. This is the route we're going. We're all in. So that's my take on Steve Wilkes. We got Dizzle just covering,
Just grilling.
AJ. How about you let Mahomes drive it down the field and learn the rules? Hey man, I'll learn the rules once we see the Patriots relevant again. How about that? Yes, cool. Let's deal. Okay. No sir. But we're going to get on to a super fun segment. I see we got some people in the comment section, so I want y'all to get involved. Let's talk about Derrick Henry, right? And fan favorite, we are bringing back the wheel. Everyone loves the wheel, so yes, we're bringing back the wheel. Let's make us a little bit bigger here. I really don't like the pink background, so I am going to change that to black. That's just who we are. But let me get my wheel pulled up over here. So I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the show Shark, right? Or Shark Tank. I'm not too sure what it's called, but you guys have a business proposal and you got to convince whoever the sharks are to buy into that proposal. Okay. So now we're talking about Derrick Henry. We're going to spin this wheel. We have all 32 teams on there, even the Titans. So if it lands on the Titans, that just means, hey, the Titans are going to go all in. They're going to pay for him to stay out there with them. And it happens. So you're believing into this idea. You got to convince us why that is the best possible landing spot and why that will work with whatever team he lands on. Are y'all ready? Are y'all good?
I'm always ready. I breathe
All right.
football.
You breathe football. I love it. We haven't heard that one in a while. I missed that. I'm not going to lie. Kevin, you like the wheel. Everyone likes the wheel. It's called Shark Tank, guy. That was one of the most popular shows. I don't got time to watch TV, man. I'm sorry, not sorry. But okay, who would like to volunteer to go first?
I'll go.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we got Reed going first. Let's spin this wheel.
Give me something good.
Come on.
Y'all been sleeping on me. Better wake up. Put your flag on. Do your makeup.
Probably one of the worst teams out there. Vince, let's judge this guy hard. So we have
Okay.
Derrick Henry going to the Panthers. Reed, set, go.
All right. So as I'm talking, I'm going to look over. I'm going to look at the cap space of the Panthers and
28,
tell you guys
28 mil.
How does this guy do?
who
This
is he?
guy's ready.
Who is this guy?
He
Okay, so
plays
they-
football.
Okay, 26 mil,
Oh.
close to 27 from my sources.
Wow. Okay.
Over the cap. But the Panthers, they have a good chance. They have the money to go out and pay a Derrick Henry if they would like to. The market's probably around 12 to 14 million potentially for Derrick Henry. But they need somebody to take the pressure off of our boy
Bryce.
Bryce
Mr.
Young.
Bryce.
Thank you for saving me. Vince.
Our boy.
Our boy. Listen, I'm pulling up everything right now. All right, so right now, oh come on, they don't have that. Stupid over the cap. All right, so yeah, I think he's gonna get around 12 to 14 mil. If I think, as far as on the open market, Panthers, they need somebody in that backfield. They brought in Miles Sanders last year to try to be that guy. Off the top of the head, I don't know his stats, probably because he didn't do a whole lot to help him. And they need somebody who's a big guy who can take up some workload. Yes, he's not going to be able to take the full workload at his current health, age, the tires he has on him. There's some worn tires. You got to change them out every once in a while. But I think he could be a huge,
You're losing us.
help there.
You're losing us here.
Me?
You're losing Dizzle. You're losing him. He's
But-
not buying.
Hey, he's gonna go to the highest bidder. He's gonna go to the highest bidder.
He will.
Okay, is that the end? Is
I-
that
I-
your?
He got a whole lot. All right.
I will say that was a hard one.
That was probably the worst choice for Derrick Henry.
It's
to go.
possible.
It is. It's
possible.
possible. But Vince, as Sharks, are we buying into Derrick Henry going to the Panthers?
Heck no.
Sorry, Reed.
Heck no.
That was tough. Sorry. Right. Oh man. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this one more time. Vincent, it is now your turn. Are you ready?
Hey man, as long as it's not the I wouldn't mind it being the Panthers because I just did a bunch of research on them this past weekend. But let's see.
Coming through the room, turn the bass up. Y'all been sleeping on me. Better
You're
wake
getting-
up. Put your fly gear on.
Oh, I
do your
know it's gonna
makeup.
try
Drop the
and
real
dang
low.
it, so freaking close. But you have the Atlanta Falcons. They have Bijan Robinson. So how are they going? Why the hell would they want Derrick Henry, or why would Derrick Henry want to go there? Vince, set, go.
Here's the thing. Have you guys seen who the Lions are? Did you not see the 1-2 punch that they had at running back? They have a guy who's exactly like Bijan in Gibbs, and now they want a guy who's exactly like Monty in Derrick Henry. That's all I gotta say. I mean, if you guys want more, I don't know what their cap is, but I'm pretty sure it's a little bit more than the Carolina Panthers this year. And I think that with the new, coach going there, I mean, it's going to shake things up. They want something new. They want a guy who is known around the league. And as Kevin Dizzle says here, Bijan is him. Derek, take your that's horrible. That doesn't help my case right
No, it
now.
doesn't.
But I just think the Falcons could possibly be a good fit for Derrick Henry. Yes, they're not a contender for the Super Bowl, but with Derrick Henry, they can get this franchise back on their feet. And who knows, maybe Derrick Henry has more than a year left in the NFL because the way he's looking, the way he takes care of his body, I mean, I think he could be at least a power back in the league for at least 2 or 3 more years. And I think the Falcons could get it done with him.
Reed,
Yes.
are we in or out with Vince's proposition of Derrick Henry going to the Falcons?
I think the Falcons are going to be way too busy this offseason trying to get a new quarterback for them to even think about Derrick Henry. I am out.
I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed. So I'm not going to offer you, I want 50%. I want 50% of the shares here. I'm going to have to get some big time profit. I really like that 1-2 punch you did compared to the line. So I like that.
Hey, man, I don't know. I honestly don't see him going to the Falcons either, but it is a possibility if they offer him big money.
It looks like you're not getting any love from the comments here. It says still be productive, but Dizzle, as always, agrees with Reed here, saying they need to focus on having a QB before anything else. Now,
True.
pretty sure you guys are tired of talking about Derrick Henry, right? I should have to do mine. We could.
Go ahead, AJ.
Do it,
You
AJ.
sure?
Are you scared?
If he rigged this and it says like someone like the 49ers or the
He
Chiefs.
probably rigged it.
I kind of want to
it's
get
a
something
video.
like the Bengals. Okay, I did not prep for this whatsoever, but here we go. We have the Los Angeles Rams, who are really known for their wide receiver attacks. You got Cooper Kupp, and now you got the amazing young stud, Puka no freaking Kua, right? That's what I like right there. You still got Matt Stafford. He still has a few more years on him. We just kicked the tires. It's looking okay for the next 100 miles or so. But one major improvement that they can have is a power back. They have a nice speedster in the backfield, which is great and all, but he can't be there 24/7. So I'm going to dizzle on there a little bit of that 1-2 punch, but why not get a third down back with Derrick Henry? You're talking about the Rams, who just made it to the playoffs and fell just a little bit short to who? To the 1-2 punch. Let's give it right back at them, except, yeah, you guys might have a Monroe St. Brown, but we got two of those fools out here. And now we got Derrick Henry. It's third and short. No problem. We're in the red zone. No issues. Hey, Derrick Henry, you want to catch the ball? You don't like catching the ball? Oh, guess what? That's fine with us. You don't have to do that. Just grab the rock in your hands and take it down the field. I think this is a perfect fit for them. Besides the Rams being the same division as the Niners, that's the only thing I do not like, but I feel like Derrick Henry will fit in perfectly on a team-friendly deal with the Rams. Where am I at?
I'm not really loving it. They have the cap space for him. I just don't see. I just don't see a world where he goes to the Rams. I don't see it.
I just painted you a perfect world.
No, it wasn't perfect enough.
Okay,
So,
Vince.
obviously, Reed's a no here. I think Reed's a realist, but I liked your pitch. I could see it in a world. I definitely think there's a world out there of the infinity amounts of world that there are, but for them to just get Derrick Henry after the way Kyron Williams played, I don't know if that's going to be a possibility. Oh my God. It says, hey, Derek, Sean McVay here. Listen, man, you got absolute bricks for hands. We throw the ball way too much for your old behind to come here. We could have a nice day.
This is a great comment.
That was honestly really nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
that's exactly how we would say it. But yeah, I mean, I could see a world where it's there, but I'm not sold. Again, I think he would have to get paid quite a bit to go there if I'm speaking as Derrick Henry, But if I'm the Rams, I wouldn't mind having him.
If he goes to the Rams, I gotta win something. Like, right? Does anyone want to have another crack at this?
I'll go again.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll go again.
Because that was pretty cool, and I felt like you were kind of done a little unfair there, Reed.
I did get done a little dirty there.
Yeah, dirty.
Okay, so give me another chance. No one has agreed. I somewhat agree with Vince, but he just backed
That's too easy, right? This is the number one team that he could possibly go to. Who exemplifies who Derrick Henry is, a hard running, a blue collar city like the Baltimore Ravens. It's 100% like they need a running back. They need like 1,000 running backs, okay? Because how often they get injured, they're out for the season, etc. Put them as your second, third back. It doesn't matter. Adding him to this team, he's eventually become like their number one running back because of how many injuries this team gets. It is a running team. They went away from that in the AFC Championship, and they're probably kicking themselves as like they're a bunch of idiots right now. But like they know this offseason, like, hey, we need to focus on the run more than ever. Getting a guy like Derrick Henry going to the Ravens, like, hey, You got Lamar Jackson. He's playing great. You have a great defense. You got everything you need right now to win. Try to win a Super Bowl. Other than Patrick Mahomes being in the same conference as you, go get Derrick Henry. Go all in. It's a no brainer. Like in my head, I think Derrick Henry's like 100% going to the Ravens.
How is it that you go from the worst team possible to the most like acknowledged team that Derrick Henry might go to? It is
I took a
absolutely
chance.
insane.
I took a chance and said, "Let's go again." And I was right.
But
And
I
Brian-
hate it. I do not see Derrick Henry going to
What?
the Ravens. Why?
Just
Why
'cause you
would
hate
he?
the Ravens.
Why would I dislike the Ravens very much. So yes, but same story with OBJ. He's irrelevant. It's going to be irrelevant. It's not going to matter. They run their running backs to the ground. They're the worst team out there for Derrick Henry. Really? What are going to be chasing? It's not a ring. That's for damn sure. So hopefully they pay him the bank. But how can they do so with Lamar Jackson and OBJ?
Hi, Derek. Johnny Bukaki here from the Ravens. We don't got a running back. We need a dog. I know you got 1 year left on that body. Come here. Let's get a playoff again and lose because Lamar isn't him. I like it, Dizzle. Same wavelength as always, me and Dizzle.
Jeez.
What? Oh my gosh, dude.
Vincent, what do you think?
So
Read option going.
I think it's a 50-50 shot of him going to the Ravens or him going to another contender. I think a lot of people are actually sleeping on him possibly going to the Bengals. The Bengals don't know what they're going to do at running back here. Of course, they don't know if they want to extend, what's his name? I can't even remember him. Yeah, Joe Mixon, because he fell off. No, I'm just kidding. That entire team fell off. But I could see a world where he goes to a different type of contender, not someone who's already solidified as a playoff spot type team already this early, no matter what happens in the draft or what happens in free agency. But I just kind of agree with AJ. I don't know if he's going to go there. There's too many running backs to feed. Yes, they get injured quite a lot, but I just feel like that's not the direction that the Ravens want to go in. They want to go with these speed guys, these guys who are pass catchers, because they already have Lamar Jackson who can, just run all over the field, get away from guys. So I don't think they need anybody who has a power type of running back. I think they need guys who have speed and pass catching ability, and that's not Derrick Henry. So, Reed, I liked your pitch because, of course, everybody thinks he's going to the Ravens, but I'm just not sold on the Ravens yet.
All right, but we have to admit this is the best stock, the best merchandise that has been brought forward.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
It's probably one of the most probable,
Yeah.
I would say.
So I win Shark Tank.
Well,
I
technically
think
the only vote,
I won Shark Tank.
Yeah,
I
this
think
was
I
the
won
only-
Shark. I won it.
Guys, this is a made-up game. Come on.
I win.
Okay, yes, you both win. You guys are awesome. Yay, winners. How about that? Yes?
Woo!
All right, so are we done with the wheel or you want another crack at it, Vince?
I think we'll do another crack at it just for funsies.
Okay.
I want to see if there's anybody else who could possibly gain the interest of Derrick Henry.
I do want to answer this first because you guys know I'm a fantasy junkie, right? Puka Nacua is not going in the first round next year. I repeat, not going in the first round. Vince got it, though. Second round. Late second round or early third round. That's where I got him as my way too early draft picks for fantasy football. Vince, you're up on the clock. Let's go.
I'm coming through the room, turn the bass up. Y'all been sleeping on me, better wake up. Put your fly gear on, do your makeup, drop it real low.
Okay, so I'm not 100% sold on this one myself, but the Giants, man, they don't know what the heck is going on. But what they do know is that they could get a guy cheaper than the franchise tag with Saquon Barkley. And why not? It's Derrick Henry. Yes, he's not a pass catcher like Saquon Barkley. Yes, we don't know who our quarterback's going to be because Daniel Jones is T-Rash. But maybe we could get some ticket sales in this stadium and possibly possibly get one of the best running backs injured there at the worst stadium in the NFL. And this is why I don't think Derrick Henry should go to the Giants. Do not buy into this because, in my opinion, there's no shot that he goes to the Giants. I think this one's actually worse than the Panthers. So I have nothing here. The Giants don't know what type of team they are, and I don't think Derrick Henry would help that.
Wow, Vince, I thought you were actually going to try to fight that. And
Heck no, that one's irrelevant. I was gonna say the Cowboys would have been cool.
Reed, we got to have a name for your fan base here on NSP.
Because Dizzle's the number one fan there.
Like, look at this.
It's easy.
Reed won Shark Tank. He is Heem. AJ and 49ers is it Heem. I think of like Eric Cartman from South Park whenever I see that.
Yeah.
You want a name for the fan base?
I want a name for the Reed fan base. Yes.
The Readers.
The Readers?
Yes.
Hey, that's your fan base. If that's what you want, we'll have the Readers. Oh, here we go, baby. I love. Oh my gosh, where was this type of creativity when you're on the show, Dizzle? This is what we needed here.
Hey, you did great at the show.
He did.
All right. I'll read it. Hi, Derek. Brian, the Chipotle Bowl here for New York Giants. The brightest lights, and in New York City, Saquon is leaving. We would love for you to come here. Got an up and coming line, and Danny Dimes will be back. That is an enticing offer for him.
The Chipotle Bowl.
The Chipotle. Oh.
So that's actually a vote for Vince. I think Vince wins it.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Readers. I like it.
Readers. All right, I guess we could move on to our next segment here. If I could just get it ready, let me put that out. I'm gonna put it like this now, so we won't, what is that called? Rastercize, or could try to rastercize as many times. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not liking it one bit. But this is another. I don't want to say another, but this is a new segment. I really like. It's called Let's Talk About It. All right. So this is what's going to happen. I want you guys to get involved in this as well. I'm talking to the people in the comment section. Sweet. What is going on? I see you in the comment section right there. He says, or she says, hi, I'm not too sure, but thank you so much for joining us here live. If you're feeling, generous, hit that follow button or go on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out tremendously. But let's talk about it. This is how it works. I'm going to show y'all a series of pictures, or really a series of tweets. What are y'all laughing at?
I'm taking that comment off.
What comment?
Don't keep it on there too long.
Don't keep it on there. AJ didn't read it.
Oh, let's talk about hit. Okay. I don't know. I don't see that too horrible, but this is how it works. I'm going to show you guys some tweets out there that are including pictures. I want y'all's first reaction, initial thought, and then just explain yourself. I just want to hear it. And feel free to interrupt one another. This is going to be a full-on debate type of talk, so it should be a lot of fun. Right? We did this very early in our podcasting career, and now we're bringing it back, but with a new title and a new gimmick to it. Let's talk about it. And I was supposed to actually bring up my screen, which I didn't do, but it's okay. I know.
Calling me out at our last recording.
Should be fun.
I didn't call you. I called you out for not having it prepared.
Ooh.
This is a little different. Does that look better now?
Yeah, right there.
I like it.
Yeah. Okay, so the first one. There we go. The first one, we have Chris Sims post or saying live that Jalen Hurts is the most overrated player in football. What do we think? How do we feel? Talk to me.
So I'll go first because I hyped this guy up 2 years ago in the 2022 season because I said that he was going to be the MVP candidate. And that's just, kind of almost what happened. He didn't win it, but he was pretty close. But here's what I think. Eagles are a totally different team. They are kind of losing their identity, losing the locker room. That's why I think Jalen Hurts' production has gone down. Yes, tush push has gotten more famous than Jalen Hurts itself. And I think that's the reason everybody's saying he's so overrated, because the offense really never revolved around Jalen Hurts. Yes, he's the quarterback, but it doesn't revolve around him. It revolves around that O-line. The Eagles are a running team. Jalen Hurts is just an accompanying a member to that because of the tush push. If there was no tush push, Jalen Hurts would not be the talk of the town as one of the best quarterbacks in the league for the past like 2 or 3 years. So interrupt me, guys, if you feel like it, but I think it's just the O-line there in the Eagles that's the talk of the town, and not so much Jalen Hurts. I think whoever hypes him up too much, me included 2 years ago, was just riding the fame that he had with the stat lines that he had.
It was the talk of the town there, Sir Vincent. It was, because that old line will forever look different, right? We're going to see Jason Kelsey go out there retire. We have rumors of other offensive linemen in that starting O-line retiring or thinking about retirement as well. And I've been saying it all season long, right? This guy is showing that he's good. He's an MVP candidate. The Eagles are doing tremendously well because of that offensive line and nothing else. I like Jalen Hurts. I think he's a cool dude, right? But he's not something special, right? He's just your quarterback. He's your average, a little bit above par quarterback that has legs. That's who he is. And really, you put some studs out there in wide receivers, and what did they do last year? They look good if he had time. They look good in broken down schemes, right? But when it came down to it, it showed that he wasn't a leader in the locker room. It shows that he couldn't pull up late in the season. He can't finish a season. So is he the most overrated player in football? I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to go to that extent, right? I don't think he's the most overrated player, but I think he's overrated for what he's being talked about.
So once again, me and Dizzle are 100% agreeing right now. He says he's not backing the narrative. He's saying he believes he was hurt last year, coming up big year, make or break for him. He's a selfless leader. He can squat a whole bunch. The Reader gang, etc. He says some stuff about AJ. I'm not going to bring that one up. But in my opinion, I do think Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. He's a selfless leader who can make excuses, can squat more weight than the three of you combined. That's probably true. He's an absolute dog. Give him another year. Yerd Reader gang. Love it.
Yerd.
I like Jalen Hurts. I think he has as far as the outside of sorry, I'm losing my words here. The way he talks to the media, the way he carries himself, etc. I think he's a franchise guy, etc. On the field, I know, yes, his running stats and the O-line have definitely helped him, and it's why he's been able to go to a Super Bowl, has been able to make the playoffs for multiple years, and has won so many games. 100%, that is a huge reason for him. I also will say that I think he was given that big boy contract a little bit too early. That $50 million a year contract or whatever, I think he was giving it to him a little bit too early. Yes, they went to the Super Bowl and he deserved something, but I don't think off his passing stats he deserved that. Now, what I will say is I think he is a good quarterback, and I think you give him more years to develop. I think he could do better. We saw a not so great year from him this past year because, well, they lost their offensive coordinator and they hired a schmuck, and I don't think what's his face Sirianni is that great of a head coach. I'm honest.
Are you kidding me?
Yes,
I've been saying that this whole time. You never backed me up on it.
I never backed you up. This is me coming back and saying I was wrong before, right? I don't
Someone
think
clip this. You readers out there, make sure you clip this.
But you're wrong here in this conversation, right? Sirianni is not that great a coach without a good offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, etc. Same thing that I believe with Dan Campbell, that you'll see eventually when those guys leave him, when Ben Johnson leaves him. Jalen Hurts, we saw him play great in the Super Bowl. He was 27 for 38. He had a passing touchdown, and he rushed for another 3 touchdowns. I think he came up big in the biggest moment, but unfortunately, the other guy was Patrick Mahomes, and they just outplayed him, unfortunately. But he had great stats. I think give him another year or two where he can really develop underneath a good offensive coordinator and a good head coach. Hopefully, Sirianni can turn into one. I think he could be a good quarterback in this league and a future starter. Do I think he is as great as people put him at the last offseason? No, but I do think he is a good quarterback, and I don't think he deserves all the trash talk.
Still waiting to hear the part where I'm wrong in this conversation. I haven't heard anything about that. You said that, he's not as good as what people were saying. So I think that may be the definition of being overrated for being rated over for what he actually is, right?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, but that's still overrated, which that is what I said. I never said he was the most overrated. One thing that I did disagree with you on was that you said that he was a leader, just like your little readers out there in the comment section saying that he's a leader. I think he's a great guy. He talks like a franchise quarterback. You're right on that, but he lost the locker room. You have AJ Brown all up in his face. You have correct. I don't disagree there, but you got to get hold of that locker room. You're the quarterback. You're the leader. You're just the natural leader of that offense. And if that locker room breaks down, there's two guys you're looking at. One's the head coach and the other one's the quarterback, right? How do they respond? How do they run things? And he lost it. We're hoping that he might have come back in the playoffs, but they just looked worse. So, bam. Those are my thoughts with Jalen Hurts. I'm pretty sure we want to move on from this one. But, yeah, I guess we all on the same page here, huh? Not the most overrated, but a little overrated. It was the MVP candidate. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. AJ Brown, a diva wide receiver, the squeaker Heisman winner, is the number one. N'Keal Harry is an overrated wide receiver. Oh, whoa. Next one right here. Boom. The Bosa brothers. How do we feel about Joey Bosa on the possibility of joining the San Francisco 49ers across from his younger brother, Nick Bosa?
I would be very surprised. The Niners do have cap space, but not a insane amount. Yeah, I could see the Chargers moving on from him potentially. I would still be very surprised if the Niners take him. Jesus Christ.
I love that comment.
I'm not dodging all the San Francisco comments, by the way. And then that picture's full of racism, ladies and gentlemen. That it's hilarious. But I wouldn't be opposed to this, right? They talked about this earlier. They said, hey, it's a great possibility that the Chargers move on from Joey Bosa. And Joey even came out and said that he's even willing to take a team-friendly deal if it means being paired up with his brother. So how great would this be? Yes, I know. Oh, but you have Chase Young. Not really, right? We don't have him yet, but we've seen Chase Young paired up with Nick Bosa. But now we're talking about brothers here, right? We're talking about two of the greatest to do it in this generation, which Joey is still 100% a factor in this league, whether you like it or not. It's just unfortunate that we haven't seen him play a full healthy season. Now, these two guys are paired up, just the chemistry, right, that they have with one another, just by being brothers, growing up with each other, and then being on that defense where Joey Bosa is not the only factor there. I'm not saying anything about Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack's a tremendous athlete, but you have a whole set in that defense. I think this would look freaking awesome. Do I think it's going to happen? Absolutely not. But I would love to see it.
Yeah, I would hate to see it, but I think it would be cool if it was a different team that's outside of my division. But realistically, I also don't see it happening. Do I think that the San Francisco organization will go after him? I mean, they'll probably go after anybody who's available. So if there's a trade, if there's rumors that someone is unhappy and they're a star in this league, I think the 49ers will go after him, just like they did with Chase Young. They got that steal there with that trade with the Commanders, and I think they could do the same with the Chargers. But now, with the Harbaugh guy at coach, I don't know if they're willing to trade anybody. They don't want to start with losing one of their best players. They don't want to start by, having him come into the building and then just like the team falls apart, because then that looks bad on him since they just signed him, I think, to 4 years as their head coach?
Oh,
5 years.
yeah. I think it
Yeah.
was 5 years for Harbaugh.
Okay, yeah, but I just don't see it because of that. I think if maybe they wouldn't have like had a change in their head coach, I think maybe this could be a possibility. But just because of that portion right there, that their head coach is fired, they hired Mr. Harbaugh there. I don't know. That's my whole reasoning. But I do think that Joey Bosa would like a change of scenery, but we'll see how he likes it with Harbaugh.
I think so too. And I'm going to share some light here on Dizzle's comments. It says Chase Young or Joey Bosa wouldn't matter at all. Washed and overrated. They don't have self-belief, lack confidence, just mentally weak professional NFL O-layers. Well, Chase Young, I heard a lot about him by people who are close to him. I don't know if you guys ever heard the name of John Riggins, Hall of Famer running back for the Washington Redskins, spends a lot of time out there in the Washington facility. I got a chance to speak with him one-on-one, and he shared some his thoughts on Chase Young. And let me tell you, he doesn't like him one bit. Right. He says it's not about football. It's about himself and fame. But I think I said this before on our early days of the podcast. But maybe they get someone in free agency, someone like Josh Uche, that the Patriots are seamlessly going to, just let walk. How about that? I know my Patriots. But I'm going to hide something because Dizzle, you better stay on this stream. I'm going to hide this because I'm going to go over something else I want to talk about, which I want you here for it. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good. But this is the next picture here. We see Caleb Williams and DJ Moore, right? PFF goes out there and says Caleb Williams and DJ Moore would be a top blank QB wide receiver duo. How do we feel about Caleb Williams getting drafted by the Chicago Bears?
The Chicago curse would be more prevalent than ever. I'm already not that high on Caleb Williams. This show really hasn't, led by AJ. But yeah, first year in this Eberflus or whatever his name is head coach era. They just fired their head coach Luke Getsy. They got a new offense coordinator. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. But if they get him, then you have a rookie quarterback making rookie mistakes. But yeah, this is not a top 10 duo out of the whole league. Dizzle. I mean, the N'Keal Harry is out there, man. Like, you're gonna say
that's
a joke.
This guy has your back 24/7, dude. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's not top 10. No, absolutely not.
You gotta wait.
Top 10. I would say maybe top 32.
Top 32?
Maybe. That's being generous. That's honestly being very generous.
Okay, so let's pass the mic over to the Justin Fields guys himself, right? Vincent, he is our Justin Fields representative alongside with Vice President Reed McCall for Justin Fields. So Vince, how do you feel about seeing this picture with this duo? This is meaning that the Chicago Bears are moving on from Justin Fields. Let's go.
Well, you see, I wouldn't hate it. I like Justin Fields. I don't like the Chicago Bears. So whether Justin Fields stays with the Bears or he leaves, I think he's still going to be a good quarterback in the league. He just needs some guys around him, and we saw a little bit of that this year going into that playoff push, if you want to call it. But the Bears, almost kind of did it. They played well in the last 8 games of the season.
Almost kind of. It sounds like they did it.
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't.
Almost
just like the Seahawks, they didn't either. They almost had it, but they didn't. So they didn't make the playoffs. but he says Fields is him. Pats fans would take him. Yeah, I think the same thing. I think a lot of teams would take him. I wouldn't be mad if the Seahawks ended up trying to trade for him instead of going for a quarterback in this draft. But I think, yeah, I agree with Reed. If Caleb Williams goes to the Bears, the way that organization is going, I think they have better luck with Justin Fields at the helm than they do with Caleb Williams. I think you use that first round pick there to get more first round picks either later in this draft or in the next draft or both. You know, you could do that with the pick that you have there because of the stinky Panthers. But they got the best of both worlds here. They got DJ Moore. They got that first overall pick. If they were to take Caleb Williams, I would be super surprised because that means that the Bears don't know what they're doing anymore because they said they're sticking with Fields. Yes, Reed. Sorry, they can't be the Packers, but I think the Bears are getting better. And if they do this, I think they go back in the same direction that they had been for a long time. So I don't like it. Not one bit.
Not reading that last comment there, Dizzly. That's a little too much for me for my liking. But yes, the Bears were low key looking good towards the end of the season. But I would have fully supported that if they would have beaten the Packers, which they did not. So I'm gonna go on that one. So that's all I gotta say. I don't really want to dive in too much into this. Reiterate said that I'm not the biggest Caleb Williams guy. It's a lose situation here in Chicago. Whether they stick with Justin Fields, whether they go out there to get Caleb Williams, whether they just quit as a football team as a whole. There's no way there's a winning outcome for Chicago, and I feel bad because we have some fans out there that are Chicago fans, and I love them to death. Right, these guys are awesome, but I don't know how you're doing it as a Chicago fan. That's tough.
Pain. It's just pain.
That is pain. That's tough. That's real tough. But we're going to go ahead and move on to what I really want to talk about. Dizzle, this one is here for you. Okay, so you better not leave. Better not go anywhere. But a Falcons fan came out and posted this. This monstrosity. Oh my goodness. Says, I speak for all Atlanta Falcons fans when I say we want Mac Jones. Trade for Mac, and just the monstrosity of this picture. I mean, that is horrible. They put Mac Jones.
So disrespectful to Julio.
So disrespectful to Julio Jones, right? Even to the Atlanta Falcons. Look, they just, copy and pasted a logo over the Patriots helmet. Like, oh my goodness, I do better Photoshop than this. But gentlemen, how are we feeling?
How am I feeling? It's disgusting. It's horrible. The Falcons, if they're going to be in on every single quarterback, they're going to be in on Kirk Cousins. They're going to be in on. They're going to be. I'm losing names. They're going to be in on Justin Fields. They're going to be in on any draft picks. Like, they're looking for a quarterback. For you to end up after all of it with Mac Jones is an absolute travesty. He says LFG, I still believe in him. He needs a fresh start. A cheap quarterback, actually love it.
Cheap? I don't think he's going to be cheap.
You know who the Falcons should go after? They should go after Drew Lock. I think that's a way better upgrade than Mac Jones. I'm not saying Drew Lock is like the cream of the crop out of everybody who's out there, but this is a guy that they can get in the QB room. They can also draft a quarterback this year, and they just ride with whoever's playing better. They could even get another second-string quarterback that they believe in. But if they were smart, they got to go with guys who are actually playing well in the league. And Drew Lock had his stint there a little bit. A couple games he played well, but I don't believe in Mac Jones either, and I know AJ doesn't, so I know he's going to roast the heck out of him right now. So let's go with that.
I'll interrupt really quickly. I think going after Drew Lock, yeah, he looked good in those couple games, but you got to go all in if I'm the Falcons and like a quarterback. Either I'm taking Kirk Cousins, Justin Fields, or I'm drafting a quarterback. I'm going after those two guys first, but
But then is that really going all in by drafting a quarterback right now?
I
Or
think
is
they
that
were a quarterback.
investing?
I think they were a quarterback away. If Ritter wasn't playing so terrible and Heineke wasn't playing so terrible and Arthur Smith wasn't an absolute doofus, that this team could have actually gone into the playoffs and actually gone like to the second round potentially. I think the NFC, as far as the lower teams, is just that like it's that possible in my opinion. If they had a quarterback, this team could actually have gone far. They have weapons. They have Drake London. They have Kyle Pitts. They have Bijan. Defensively, they reloaded it crazy last year. I think that the Atlanta Falcons could get far in the playoffs next year if they just get a quarterback.
I think that's a lot of teams, though. It's a lot of teams if they had a good quarterback.
I think this is one of the closest teams.
Oh,
Go ahead, AJ.
interesting.
This doesn't happen often. But I agree so much with Reed right now.
He's
Like,
a
I've been
reader.
saying this.
He's a reader.
I'm not a reader.
He's a
Okay, I am not a
reader.
reader. But I will say that I've been preaching this. This is probably the most sought out job for a head coach is the Atlanta Falcons because they are the most ready to go plug and play team. You have a stacked defense that they revamped last offseason. You have weapons offensively. You have Drake London, you Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. You put someone in there, shit, dude. You put Jimmy G in there, and this guy is going to have a winning season with the Atlanta
The
Falcons.
drug
Get
lord,
out of here.
Jimmy G.
No reader here. What was that?
The drug lord, Jimmy G.
The drug lord Jimmy G, who stopped at a 7-Eleven to buy some pills to make you go all night long. But yeah, you put a game manager in here, and I'm talking about a real game manager. I'm not talking about the scum of the earth like Mac Jones, right? I'm talking about a Jimmy G. I'm talking about a Kirk Cousins. I'm talking about a Sam Darnold even. I'm not even going to be upset with that, right? But one quarterback is really going to like this offense, and I'm kind of sad. Not really sad. I was never his biggest fan whenever they let go of Marcus Mariota, but he wasn't doing bad. Like, the record says different, but he wasn't doing bad. These guys are going to shake it up just a bit. I would really love to see a Kirk Cousins in here. How insane would that be? But what I don't love about that idea is that Kirk Cousins, he's obviously a veteran, and this is such a young team. A lot of growth to happen. I'm going to throw a curveball here.
Go ahead.
Vince knows what I'm going to say. Do you know what I'm going to say, Vince?
I don't.
Oh, give Trey Lance a chance, dude. You put Trey Lance on this offense. Just give him a
All right,
chance.
Reed.
Come
Who's
on.
who's worse, Trey Lance or Drew Lock at this one?
Ooh,
I would
like to hear
take
this.
Drew Lock. I'll take
What?
Drew Lock. He's had
take
more
Drew Lock?
experience. Trey Lance has barely touched a football in the last 4 years. Okay, he's barely even touched the football.
So is Drew Lock.
Drew
What do
Lock
you
has way
mean?
more experience.
Well, the past few years, yeah, I get it. You know, last year you had Trey Lance hurt, but all this past season, I mean, he has the same amount of experience as Drew Lock.
He was a third stringer, barely touching the ball.
That's a video for another day. Being
Yeah.
a third stringer, I think that was more of a management issue where they got rid of him. But yeah, I can't be mad at it. I think Drew Lock is probably the most or the more educated choice here because he's been in the league longer, more experienced, a couple of teams and different coaches. But I absolutely love the opportunity for a young quarterback to go out here. Kyler Murray in Arizona, they win the Super Bowl. Who's
He
this
say
guy?
he means Atlanta.
Oh,
In Atlanta. Ugh. I
yeah,
don't know
Kyler
about
Murray
that.
would absolutely ruin that team. It spreads. Not dwarfism, but
Whoa, you're a dwarfist.
I don't know. But that's all we got for today, guys. How did you feel about today's podcast? Did you like our segments today about the wheel of Derrick Henry, about talking some post on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it? I'm still stuck on Twitter, but I had a lot of fun with this. Hopefully these guys did too. A lot of crazy takes, especially with Reed. Very surprised with you today, Reed.
What?
I like
I was 100%. I won every single round today.
Yeah, always. But that's all I got. You guys got anything to say before we head out?
No, sir.
Nothing much.
Alrighty then. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Of course, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up, leave a comment down in the section below, and until next time, keep on grinding.
Be strong.
Okay, I don't know what the hell's going on, but I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear. Did y'all hear the wheel or the intro, outro?
I heard
couldn't
the wheel
hear.
the first time.
I couldn't hear crap, and then it's
I
kind of
heard
pissing me off about this whole, lag and glitch type of deal.
Yeah, it's really
know.
annoying.
So we
I
get a
think-
lot more bang for our buck on this platform, and we're paying
Yeah.
$5 less. But I'm ready to call it if you guys are.
I really wish.
Uh,
I'd say let's move over to back to StreamYard and let's come back to this. Hopefully, I think you said this is a newer platform.
Correct.
Streamlabs Talk Studio is. Hopefully, they can continue to improve. I imagine maybe we can look into maybe see if other people are experiencing the same issues that we are. If there are, then we know it's not us, and then they'll eventually improve it. But yeah, continuing on this at its current capacity is not a good idea, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially going into the off season when we need people to stay glued to us better than any other time of the year.
Yeah, like I said, it's just disappointing because you get a lot more in this platform, but
Everything's great. Everything around it, everything's great, except everything cuts out.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was the same for y'all, but when we're in like these type of screens, like where our view isn't like minimized, I feel like we ran smoother. I wasn't watching on my phone anymore, but in the beginning when we were like this, it was horrendous.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
this
bad.
is so bad.
It was like the worst thing that I've ever seen in a while, to
Yeah.
be honest, on our channel. So
I think at one point AJ's, I don't know if it came through
there's
the screen.
robot. Yeah,
It was like robot-y voice,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
It was the
That's
one where I think it was the last time we were talking on
the wheel.
the wheel. Yeah,
Yeah. That was really annoying.
but it caught up again. So like I think it was on there
Yeah.
for like a minute where AJ sounded like a robot, but then after a while he stabilized.
Yeah. Really disappointing, unfortunately. This should be so much better.
It should be, yeah. But yeah, I guess